Hello, Chris here. This week, let's talk about the history of robots in literature. The very first robot, or use of the term robot, ever used in literature was used in a play in the early 1920s named R.U.R., Rossum's Universal Robots, that was written by a Czechoslovakian, I believe, named Karel Čapek. I could be mispronouncing the last name, but there you go. He said that his brother Joseph was the one who originally came up with the term, and basically it was a play about this factory that had mechanical workers and like dealing with worker rights. Now the author that most people think of when they think of robots and literature is Isaac Asimov. He was the one who came up with the 3 laws of robotics, which are built into the positronic brain. Of course, this is all made up, of the robot. He wrote a lot of stories about robots, a lot of books about robots. They even made a movie a few years ago starring Will Smith, I, Robot, that was based on a story by Isaac Asimov. But here are the 3 laws of robotics as put forth by Isaac Asimov. Number 1, robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. That's rule 1. Rule 2, a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And law number 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. And that's about it as far as Isaac Asimov goes in robots. He wrote a bunch of stories about robots. But now on to my pick of the week for just a suggestion. The book I've got this week is Robopocalypse by Daniel Wilson. I loved this book. However, had a couple problems with it. Number 1, I'm not sure why, but something about the title, Robopocalypse, just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It makes the story seem corny, and it's really not a corny story. It's a very serious story. And the second problem I have with the book is I wish it was longer and went into more detail. But that being said, I loved this book. It's the story of the advent of artificial intelligence and how suddenly our machines start rising up against humankind. Wonderful, wonderful, absolutely incredible story. Very, very good. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Now on to the trivia question. First of all, the answer to last week's trivia question, which, a quick reminder, the maths in our educational system, geometry, algebra, and trigonometry, and the sciences were originally divided up into biology, chemistry, and physics. My question was, how did they determine the order in which to teach those subjects? And the answer is, they did some research and then decided it would just be easiest if they taught them in alphabetical order. So you've got algebra, which comes before geometry, which comes before trigonometry, and you've got biology, which comes before chemistry, which comes before physics. There you go. Now, this week's trivia question, here goes. There is an excellent guitar player, electric guitar, named Joe Satriani. He was born in 1956. I think the guy is incredible. However, when he was a teenager, back in 1970, near the end of 1970, there was something that happened that he heard about that immediately made him quit the football team, and despite the fact that he had never picked up a guitar before in his life, from that moment on, he dedicated his life to playing guitar. So my question for you is, what was this event? What happened that caused this kid to give up everything, well, basically everything, to dedicate his life to an instrument he had never before picked up? If you know the answer, come on down to Downtown Books and Coffee, and we'll give you something off. And hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. See you next week.